what we are going to see now, second chapter was all those introductions. Third, fourth, fifth, it is about the self. So how we can follow this, clear instructions and guidelines will come. So I will just say that be patient and till we complete the fifth chapter, because the concepts will be related and we will get the full idea. Because if I say something in the middle, if I give an answer, it will not make sense, because in that context how that question is asked and how it comes in that flow, then it will make more sense. So I will just say, just be patient, like how they say in school, we will see later, we'll see later, and then they will never say it. It's not going to happen like that. We are going to see everything, and all questions what we have will be answered. Even Arjuna has those doubts just like us, so we will answer everything, and only when it comes in that context and flow it will make proper sense. So three chapters will be little bit patient, and we will go one by one to see what we can take from Bhagavad Gita, because that's the main purpose we are here. What can we do and how we can enrich our lives with this teaching. So we will go patiently with that. So karma yoga itself, karma and yoga, two words are there. Karma means your willful action. It is not talking about our breathing, heart is beating, all that is not karma. Karma is just what you are doing with your own will. So we have control over it. So that is karma. And yoga. Yoga means uniting. So there will be a goal, and this karma is uniting with one another goal. So we will see all that in this Karma Yoga chapter. So we will start with the first shloka. First shloka itself is starting as a doubt. Arjuna has a doubt. So how these shlokas are going to be, Arjuna has a doubt, and then Krishna is going to answer those questions in shlokas 1 to 7. And then after 8 only Karma Yoga is actually going to start. So first we will see what Arjuna's question is. It is a very valid question if we see it, and we'll see how Krishna is answering that question. So before we go to the shloka, we will just see what it means, and then we will go and see the meaning of it. So in this shloka, what Arjuna asks is, in very short, he says, Krishna, you talked about jnana. So first you told me that about this Atma Tattva. You said that we are all made of this Atma, and this Atma is invincible, it is indestructible, all those truth about Atma you said. And in the end also you finished with the person having that jnana. How does he behave? So the two sides, what did you talk about was about the Atma Tattva or jnana. And in the middle, you talked about the Karma Yoga. So now it is like what? Like what are you trying to say is what he is asking. Because Krishna has talked about Jnana Yoga in the beginning and in the end. And then in the middle, he has just put this Karma Yoga and said, Karmanyavadikaraste, he said in the middle. So Arjuna is a little bit confused. So this is like what? Similar to what? When we go to like a parent teachers meet, teacher will first say, your child is so wonderful. They will finish with, your child, your daughter is so wonderful. In the middle, they will say something like, if she concentrated more in the class, she can do better. So whatever the message they want to give, they'll put it in the middle, that sandwich technique. Similarly, Krishna has used the sandwich technique, and Arjuna wants to know, you talked about two things. Now what should I do? I am confused. So this is what he is saying here. So we will see the shloka, and we will see Arjuna's mindset after this, after we see the shloka and why Arjuna is talking like this. Arjuna vacha jyayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi keshava. Arjuna vacha, Arjuna is saying, Jayasi chet karmanaha te. Jayasi means better, chet if, karmanaha, this action, te, by you. If you think, what he wants to say is, if you think that better than this karma, then the following line is going to talk more. Mata buddhir janardana. Mata means is considered, and by you has come te before. Buddhihi, that is this intelligence or this knowledge or this jnana yoga you're talking about, Janardana, O Krishna. The meaning of Janardana is one who destroys birth, one who destroys the cycle of birth. So that is Janardana. So referring to Krishna. Tat kim karmani ghore ma. Tat, therefore, kim, why, karmani, in this action, ghore ma, ghastly action. Niyojayasi, you are engaging me, Keshava, O Krishna. So what he is saying here, O Krishna, why are you engaging me in this ghastly karma? If you are saying that the Jnana Yoga is better than Karma Yoga, okay, then why are you engaging me in this action is this question. So the interpretation of this is, they talk about the bias. Arjuna has got this bias. For what he really wants to do is that he doesn't want to do the war. First he came, he wanted to do the war, then he saw his relatives, he was in this Shoka and Moha stage. Then he was confused, he asked Krishna. Then when he asked Krishna, Krishna talked about Jnana Yoga, and then he talked about Karma, and then he talked about Karma Yoga, and then he said, in the end he finished with again Jnana. So in his mind what he actually wants is, Krishna, please tell me to go away from this battlefield and I will go to the Himalayas and meditate. That is easy for me. But I want this permission. I want somebody to endorse me. If I go, you are saying people will laugh at me, I will be shamed. They will say that I ran away. I don't want that also. I want somebody to endorse me. You are saying anyway that people should go in the path of jnana. Then why I have to do this war? Please tell me to go and meditate. I can go away very happily. That is his mindset. So this bias is very important for us. What we can learn is, when we want to hear what we want to hear, then we are happy. If somebody contradicts that, we are not happy with it. We want them to say, we are scared to take the decision on our own. For example, like if suppose we are going to buy a new phone. Now the Android versus Apple. Okay. So I suppose I want to buy the iPhone. So anyway, I will go and ask the salesperson. I will bother him. No, tell me which is better. Do you think Android is better or should I go for this iPhone? Then he will say, okay, this Android has got great features. I don't know, this, is it S20 Samsung new phone? SG20, I think. So this has got great features and it's got this 40 megapixel selfie camera. It's got great zoom features, and then you have the bigger display. And then he will start to talk about the processor in the iPhone. He said it's got this processor, so it is much powerful. And then he will go and say, okay, maybe for security and software, you need to buy the iPhone. So then I will latch on to that. Say, I know that this iPhone is better and I want to buy it. Similarly, whenever we have a bias in us, we will fail to listen properly to what, even if we ask advice, we will fail to listen to it properly in its entirety. What Krishna is telling is little bit different from what Arjuna has understood. So the lesson for us is that we should not have any bias when we are making a decision. If we have a bias, we must say, okay, I do have a bias, but let me evaluate both sides and see if that is correct or not. So that is what is happened in this first shloka. He wants to hear only what he wants to hear. So that's why he is putting this objection. Tell me now that I can go away from this battlefield. I will go away and I will go in the path of jnana. So vyamishreneva vakyena buddhim mohayasiva me tadekam vada nischitya yena shreyohamapnuyam. So vyamishrene iva vakyena. Vyamishrena is a word. That means it is ambiguous, it is confusing, it is equivocal. That is, you have it is contradictory. Iva, certainly, vakyena. Vakyena is the words. Buddhim mohayasiva me. So buddhim, this intelligence, mohayasi means it is bewildering or confusing. Eva, this is a very important word, we'll come to it. Eva. It appears like me, my. Tadekam vadanishchitya. Tat ekam. Therefore, ekam, only one. Please tell me. Like us, please tell me one thing. I cannot. You're talking about two things. Which is better of the two? Nishchitya. That is ascertaining. Yena shreyaha aham apnuyam. Yena, by which shreyaha, real benefit will come. Aham, for me. Apnuyam, attain. So, what is he saying here? My intelligence is bewildered by your ambiguous and contradictory instructions. Therefore, please tell me decisively which is more beneficial to me. In this, Arjuna is saying, things are feeling contradictory to me and I feel as though I am confused. Therefore, please tell me the one thing from which I can attain good. So first we have to see what was contradictory, in what he felt was contradictory. Krishna said, Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha Nistrigunyo Bhavarjuna Nidvando Nitya Sattvastaha Niryoga Kshema Atmama. In this shloka, Krishna condemned karma itself because what he wanted to say there, the three gunas are in the nature. So these three gunas are the basis of this world. Karma Kanda is the basis of all these karmas. It deals with these three gunas. So Arjuna, stay away from these three gunas, being the Sattva guna. In there, it appeared as though he was shunning this Karma Kanda part, basically karma itself. Then he went on to say, Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma palaheturbuhu ma te sangostva karmani. There he said, you only have the right to work. Don't go for anything else. So that is what he said. And then finally he said, Yesha Brahmi Stitif Partha Nainam Prapya Vimukyati Stitva Syam Antakalepi Brahma Nirvanam Richati. So there he said, be in the state. That is, the person who is not confused and who is in the state will attain the nirvana. So Arjuna's doubt is, if you are telling that only this Jnana Yoga is going to go to liberation, then why should I do Karma Yoga? That is his real doubt. Krishna, you never mentioned that Karma Yoga, you said Karmanya Vadikaraste, but you never said Karma Yoga will lead me to liberation. Then why should I engage in Karma Yoga? And the other point that we discuss here is the Shraddha part. This is very important. He only says, Arjuna actually says he has this doubt, but he feels that he is not clear. He is not putting the blame on Krishna. He is not saying that Krishna, you are confusing people like anything. He is telling there is my intelligence is not able to grasp what you are telling me. So in this point, we will talk about the three types of Shraddhas, or Shraddha is this belief. So the three types of Shraddhas are Ashraddha. That means what? We will take an example. You are going to Cambridge, suppose, and then you are having this physics. You are majoring in physics. So there, when you go immediately the first class, you are not going to think, oh, this physics is such a bad subject. Whatever the teacher is telling is all nonsense. You will not go with that mindset. What is a mindset you are going with? I have to learn. I have to know what is there in this physics. I have to learn what the teacher is telling me. If you go with the mindset that really if the subject is also a waste and this teacher is also a waste, then that is called Ashraddha. The next Shraddha is Kushraddha. That means what? You say, I love this teacher. You don't understand what he is telling you. Okay, you have lot of doubts, but you really love the teacher. Based on that, you never clear your doubts. You have this blind faith or belief. That is called Kushraddha. You should not be in that also. Third type is the actual type of Shraddha. It is not putting the blame on the teacher, but it is the kind of owning up and saying, my intelligence maybe did not grasp this concept and there is a contradiction. So they you go and ask the teacher, okay, the way I have understood is like this. Maybe it is wrong. And it feels as though it is confusing. Like how Arjuna is telling, is the right approach that has been taught by the scriptures. You need not have blind faith in anything. That's not what our religion is propagating. Question, but question with humbleness and with the thing that maybe you have not understood. It could be the teacher is not explaining correctly. That could be a reason. First attitude should be, maybe I have not understood it correctly. So this is what is the faith that Arjuna has. And this is a faith that we must also have. Krishna is going to answer the questions of Arjuna. So this is also going to give us more clarity in how we can lead our lives. Okay, we will do the explanation first, so better. So Krishna says, Arjuna, I am not, first point is, I am not talking about karma, I am talking about karma yoga. Okay, so in second chapter, he talked about karma yoga. He was not shunning karma yoga, but he was telling that karma is only the binding thing. And if you do it in the way of karma yoga, then it is going to release you from the bondage. That was the thing. But now Arjuna will object. He says, okay, I agree that you talked about karma yoga only. That part I have understood. But again, as we said, you did not say that karma yoga will lead to liberation. You only said jnana will lead to liberation. Then why should I do this karma or karma yoga, what you are saying? So now, how do we take it? Like suppose somebody asks me, how do I go to India? What is the transport I have to take to go to India? So I will say taxi and plane. The person says to me, no, only one transport you have to tell me. Say, no, you have to take both. First, you have to take the taxi and go to the airport. And then from there, you have to catch the plane and go to India by plane. So you have to take two modes of transport. You cannot go by plane from your house. So you have to. So similarly, what Krishna wants to say, it is a step-by-step process. You have to do karma yoga first, and then from the karma yoga, you will get the purity of mind. From then only you can go to jnana yoga. And you have to do, message in this 7 slokas is only one. You have to do both karma yoga and jnana yoga. Karma yoga is for the purity, and when you finish, when you are properly engaged in karma yoga, when you get the jnana, he said, no, in the second chapter, it will come soon and it will be firmly established. When the mind is so pure, the jnana will be fully established. And then you will do the jnana yoga and then you can go to moksha. So he wants to be very clear on this, that there are 2 steps and you have to go only one after the other. And he will give a lot of clarity about why you cannot do jnana yoga, then karma yoga, or only do jnana yoga. So he is going to give us a lot of clarity on that in the coming shlokas. Then the other thing what he is going to talk about is sadhana dvayam and nishta dvayam. This is the main core of this sloka. So sadhana dvayam means, we have already seen it. Sadhana dvayam, he is going to talk about the karma yoga and the jnana yoga. So what is karma yoga? Karma, two things are there. Karma, yoga means uniting. Then we are calling this sadhana. We are calling karma yoga as sadhana. Sadhana means practice. Practice means, you will say to me, suppose, for what? Why should I practice? Why should I practice karma yoga? Because there will be a goal. For every practice, there will be a goal, which we call the sadhya. So where is karma yoga? Karma going to unite you with, yoga means uniting. So it is going to unite you with the goal of jnana yoga. Then the second sadhanam is, we all know, jnana yoga itself. So jnana, this jnana knowledge is going to unite me with what? It is going to be unite me with the ultimate truth, or I am going to get moksha. So the step-by-step process is karma yoga leading to jnana yoga leading to moksha, that we all know. So that is the sadhana dvayam part. So 2, dvayam means 2. So sadhana is this practice. Practice of what? Karma yoga, jnana yoga, and in order. Karma yoga first and then jnana yoga. Karma yoga, what is karma yoga? We will all ask, right? We want to practice it. That is what we are going to see in all these chapters in detail. How I should conduct myself in Karma Yoga. So these are the two things. Then he is going to talk about the Nishta Dvayam. So two, what? Nishta. Nishta means what? Vishta basically means lifestyle. So there are two types of lifestyle. One is the Pravritti Marga, which means the household lifestyle, and another is the Nivritti Marga, which is the renounced lifestyle, the sannyasi lifestyle. So these are all two lifestyles. The misconception is, very important part, is that the lifestyle is being confused with the practice. That is why it has led to so much confusion. So this lifestyle is, he's going to talk about this in the coming shlokas. The lifestyle is different from the practice. How is it different from the practice? The lifestyle, the Pravritti Marga, only creates an environment for you to practice Karma Yoga. And similarly, the Nivritti Marga creates an environment for you to practice Jnana Yoga. That's all. Suppose a child goes to regular school, you have to make a decision. Okay, should I homeschool or should I send my child to regular school? Then what you will think, okay, if the child goes to the school, it will have an environment congenial for studies. Like other friends will study, then there'll be a teacher, there will be a schedule, there will be like other activities. So the school itself creates an environment. So it is only going to help. It is not the end all and means all of education. Because we say that there is a structure, it is easy for the child to absorb the materials. It goes to that environment and it is productive. Similarly, what Krishna wants to say is, see, these two are nishtas or the lifestyles are just Pravritti Nishta is conducive for Karma Yoga, and this Nivritti Nishta is conducive for this Jnana Yoga. But what you people are doing is confusing the two. And you think that if I am in the household, I cannot get Jnana. If I am Jnana, that means I will get Moksha. That is not the case. So what is actually important is a practice and how you go in that practice. Like step by step you have to go. You have to pass third standard to go to fourth standard. So it is in succession only. So if you go out of order, you will not be able to grasp everything. You have to go one by one. Similarly, that is what Krishna wants to say. So this is the main concept here. So basically what happens is the regular practice. First, there are 4 stages that we will go through in our life. We are supposed to lead our life in that way. First will be the brahmachari or the bachelorhood. Then we go to this grihastha or this household. We go in this household. Then the people, after they are little bit old, like in those days after the age of 50, they will go in the vanaprastha, which means they will not totally renounce, but little bit they will be detached from their daily things. They will go to a secluded place and try to live a renounced life. So, but fully they have not left their duties. Then finally, you go in the sannyasa, renouncing everything. So these are the 4 stages. But from brahmachari also, you can go to sannyasi without becoming a householder. All those things are there. But all these are not written in stone. Like it is only like it is giving a framework. But what actually is the main thing is the practice itself. So that is what we are going to see, how we have to go about this practice. So we will read the shloka. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Lokesmin Dvividha Nishta Pura Prokta Mayanagha Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. So what is he saying here? Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Krishna said, Bhagavan said, Lokesmin Dvivida Nishta. Loke Asmin. Loke in this world, Asmin, this. Dvivida, 2 kinds. He said Dvivida is 2 kinds. Nishta. Nishta means lifestyle. Pura Prokta Mayanagha. Pura, formally, Prokta was said Maya, by me. Anaga means the sinless one. He is addressing Arjuna. So he is saying, I spoke about this in the beginning of creation. Now the doubt will come, Krishna, you are only in this born. When did you speak in the beginning? In the 4th chapter, he will say, I spoke about this to the sun god. and then from the sun god it went to Manu, and then from Manu to Ikshvaku. So he will, so about the Avatara Tattvam, he will speak in the 4th chapter. So we will see all that there. Here he says, I have spoken about this in the beginning, 2 nishtas. 2 nishtas are what? The 2 types of lifestyles, which was this pravritti marga and this nivritti marga, the 2 lifestyles. Jnana yogena sankhyana. Jnana yoga, we know this word, jnana yoga, the yoga of knowledge. Sankhyana is for, Sankhya is for the sannyasis, basically people who have renounced. Karma yogena, this karma yoga was prescribed for whom? Yoginam. Yoginam are here refers to the people in the household. So there are 2 types of nishtas for 2 types of people. And there are 2 practices also. So they are not to be confused with each other. So the general translation becomes, O Arjuna, I have explained the 2 lifestyles to you in the very beginning. What is being told is the path of knowledge for the renounced people and the path of action for the people in the household. This will be the general translation. Now Krishna is going to give a little bit more elaboration about what will lead to moksha and what will not lead to moksha. So there are some points here. First we will see the explanation. So the first thing is the environment or the nishta or the lifestyle that Krishna talked about. This environment itself will not lead to moksha. Just because you're in the household, it doesn't mean that you cannot get moksha. Just because you are a sannyasi, it doesn't mean that you will get moksha. So what becomes very clear is that this nishta is there only to guide people, but it is not to say that this is what will lead to moksha. So we do not need to focus on the nishta too much. The second thing is action versus inaction. What we have understood as action is only physical action. That is, if I am doing some work, I will say, okay, I am acting. If I say inaction, then how we understand is that, oh, I'm not doing any work. Work itself is not action or inaction. The way in which you do the work is the action and inaction. And naishkarmyam is the state of actionlessness, which is what is the moksha, or what the jnani will have is this naishkarmyam. Naishkarmyam means what? Not the physical doing of the work. People are very much attached to the physical doing of the work, but that will not doing or doing is not going to be anyway affecting moksha. What does work and not work mean? Work means if you think that you are acting, then you are bound to that action. What the jnani thinks is that I am not acting. We will see how the jnani will think. For example, what are we saying by being attached to the mind and the body? What do we say? We always say, oh, don't be attached to the mind and the body. What we mean by that is, you are trying to please your mind and your body. That is called attachment to your mind and your body. We are trying to please our mind by going and entertaining ourselves. That means you are attached to your mind. When you are pleasing your body by eating and indulging in all those things you like, that means you are attached to your body. Whenever you think that if I make my mind and my body happy, then I will be happy, that means you are attached to your body and the mind. That is the only difference. It is simple terms to be understood that if the body and mind, I don't need to make happy. I am separate from this body and mind. I don't care if this body is happy or this mind is happy. The jnani will think that I don't care about this body and my mind. I don't need to make it. I don't need to indulge in those things. I am separate from the body and the mind, and whatever is being done by the body and mind. If you are separate from the body, then I don't need to take ownership of this body and mind. That is how the jnani will think. So that is why we say he is detached. So the main difference is that we are feeding our body and the mind, and the jnani, he is happy in his own atma. That is the difference. That is why he is able to look at action is different. And this Naishkarmyam that they talk about, this actionless state, we will see in the shloka how he achieves that. Because he's not attached to the body and mind. He's not feeding his body and mind. So he is in his self, and therefore, whatever action he does becomes inaction. Technically, it becomes, he may be doing 100 things. All the gurus we see, they will do so many things in a day, but they feel they are not acting. So that is a detachment that they bring to their work. Therefore, they don't act. But normal human beings, we think we are doing everything. So we are, so that is the second thing. So first thing we saw is this Nishta. Nishta doesn't, the lifestyle does not decide moksha. Physical doing or not doing of work does not decide moksha. Then what actually decides moksha? Yoga. Yoga, the practice. Proper practice of karma yoga followed by jnana yoga will lead to moksha. That is what Krishna wants to say. And then karma yoga and jnana yoga are compulsory steps in the process. You cannot directly jump to jnana yoga. Even when people go from brahmachari to they go to sannyasa, they have to do work for their guru. They are not let scot free do meditation for 24 hours. If you go to any mission, you have to sweep the floor, you have to do all the work in that mission. It is not as though that they are not doing any work there. They are meditating. No, only for some time. So everybody has to do work. If you are your household, if you have taken the path of sannyasa, every time you have to do the work. Karma yoga and jnana yoga are compulsory steps. Once, and karma yoga, why is it insisted? For purity of mind. Unless you have purity of mind, moksha is not possible. So we have to train ourselves, our mind to be pure, and then we get the knowledge. And so that is the fourth point. And then karma yoga first, and then jnana yoga second. So this is the sequence. So first 5 points are there. One is this environment or lifestyle is not going to lead to moksha. Doing or not doing of any physical action is not going to lead to moksha. What actually decides moksha is the proper practice of karma yoga and jnana yoga. And both karma yoga and jnana yoga are needed for moksha. And karma yoga, then jnana yoga is the sequence that has to be followed. So this is what Krishna will say in these few slokas. Na karmana manarambhat naishkarmyam purushoshnute na cha sanyasana siddhim samadhigacchati na karmanam anarambhat. So na is not, karmanam is the duties, anarambhat. Anarambhat means basically the beginning of work or the performance of work. So by not beginning or not performing, by that naishkarmyam purushoshnute. So naishkarmyam is the freedom from reactions. Naishkarmyam is the state of moksha. Naishkarmyam. Purushaha, man, ashnute, enjoys. So what he wants to say is that, like if we say that, oh, naishkarmyam, if somebody reads naishkarmyam, he will understand less actionless state. That means what he has understood, oh, I should not do any work. Krishna wants to clarify that's not what I am talking about. Physically, you do 100 things or you don't do anything. That doesn't matter. You to get to naishkarmyam doesn't mean that you have to stop work. That's what he wants to say. Naishkarmyam purushoshnute nacha sanyasanat eva, nor also by renunciation. Sanyasanat eva, simply siddhim samadhi gacchati. Samadhi gacchati is attained. Siddhim is this parama purushartha, this high state. So what he wants to say is, don't think that you can get to this naishkarmyam or this moksha by stopping all the work. You have to do your prescribed work. Okay, so people sometimes escape from this household and they think I will go to jnana yoga. Very good, I just have to sit and meditate. No need to cook, no need to take care of kids. So that is not what he is prescribing here. If you are running away, if you really didn't get that mental stability, if your mind was not purified, there you will go and think of something else. You will not get the jnana. So this is not an option. Running away from this household or being lazy is not the option for moksha. You have to do the work and then you have to renounce after you have properly completed Karma Yoga. And then you will get the moksha. So the general translation is, not by merely abstaining from work can one achieve freedom from reaction, nor by the renunciation alone can one attain perfection or moksha. So next shloka 5. So what Krishna wants to say here is, even for 1 minute, when we talk about inaction itself is only the state. People will always keep acting. Jnani or Ajnani, he will always keep acting. That's what Krishna wants to say. Till you are dying, even if you don't have any duties, you still have to, later he will say in Gita, you have to still maintain your body. You have to eat. You have to at least put this plate in the dishwasher or in the sink. That much you have to do. So you have to always work. Till you die, you will be doing some work, at least to maintain your body. So here he says that inaction is definitely not possible. We'll see this shloka and then we'll see what the explanation is. So nahi kaschit kshanamapi
jato tishthatya karma krit
karyate hyavashah karma sarvah prakriti jairgunaihi. So here nahi kaschit kshanamapi, nor he certainly, kaschit is anyone, kshanamapi for a moment also, jatu at any time, jatu tishtati remains akarmakrit without doing something. So what he wants to say, this anyone or the someone cannot be without working even for a single moment. That's the first line. But the first line has got two interpretations. According to Adi Shankara's interpretation, this anyone is interpreted as this Ajnani. He wants to say that this Ajnani is the one who will always keep working. Because why? He is attached to this body and the mind. So he substituted Ajnani for the anyone. And he wants to say, if you are attached to your body and mind, you are an Ajnani and you will always keep working till you die. But if you are a Jnani, what happens? You are actionless. You are not attached to your body and mind. You think yourself as not the doer, then you are not doing any action. Other interpretation is, you will substitute anyone to be both Jnani and Ajnani. Even then, it will make sense. Because how it happens? Ajnani will always act. Jnani, even though he acts, even though he does the same work you are doing, because he doesn't think he is a doer. This Ajnani is the Karta Bhokta. He is the doer and the enjoyer. Because why? You are feeding your mind and body all the time. You are working so that your body and mind are so happy. You want to go and relax in that bed. You want to go and have the massage. You want to do all the things that is satisfying your body. And eating the good food, satisfying your stomach, attached to the body. And the mind also want to see good things, want to go here and there. All this attachment to the mind. The Jnani doesn't care about those things. So even though he is acting, he is really not acting. So both translations will work. So he wants to say, okay, anybody cannot escape this doing of things. And then karyatehi avashaha karma. Karyate is forced, is being forced. He certainly avashaha, helplessly will do karma, work. We are all helplessly, you have to get up in the morning, every day the same routine, send the kids to school, go to office. It is just the cycle. You are not able to break it. So even if you sit in the housework, somebody is coming, you have to cook, all those things are there. So we cannot escape that. We are helpless. Because why? Sarvaha prakriti jai gunaihi. Prakriti, here, sarvaha, all. Prakriti jaihi. That means it is born by the modes of the material nature. What is born? We saw there are two things. There is this consciousness and there is prakriti. Purusha and this prakriti. Prakriti is, this whole world is created by the three gunas, the sattva, rajas and the tamas. So that is the cause of the creation of this world. When Krishna talked about the Traigunya, he said escape from the gunas means escape from this world. How it was created? Prakriti was created from these gunas. All of us, the nature is doing all this. Later he will say in Bhagavad Gita, It is all being done by nature only. We don't know that. We are thinking, I am doing. The person, Jnani, will see, sit, listen, walk, everything Jnani will do. But he knows that he is not doing. It is all done by nature. When I think I am this person, I'm the person who's talking, doing all these things, then I also get arrogance, I get this ego, this attachment that this identity is me and I am doing everything. So that is what is the ajnana. So what he said that nobody can escape this work because why? Everybody is helplessly. Will the jnani not eat? Jnani will eat, jnani will sleep, jnani will do work. But everybody is helpless because the nature is like that. You've taken this body, you will do work. But knowing is what is the knowledge of this jnana that the ajnani doesn't have. So general translation is everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities is acquired from the modes of the material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. So he now wants to say that it is a step-by-step process. Karma yoga, jnana yoga is a step-by-step process because you will not be successful otherwise. Why is he saying all these things? For us to succeed in this spiritual path, if there is a recipe given, if you follow it, more success will come, right? Similarly, he is giving this recipe and to say that you will become successful if you follow this framework. So he's talking about the step-by-step process here. We'll read the shloka. Karmendriyani samyamya ya aste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimudhatma mithyacharasya uchyate. So he says, Karmendriyani samyamya. Samyamya we know, last second chapter we have read, controlling. Karmendriyani, the five senses. So what were the five senses? Recap. Payu, which is the excretory organ. Upastha is the organ of reproduction. Pada is the feet, locomotion. Pani is the hands. And Vak is the voice or the speech. So these are the karmendriyas. So karmendriyani samyamya. So controlling all these sense organs. You have controlled these sense organs. Ya aste manasa smaran. One who remains, astes remains, manasa smaran. But in his mind he has not left it. Prajahati yada kaman, he said, completely leave it from your mind in the second chapter. So this person he is talking about, in the mind he has not left it. That is like foolish, he says. Manasa smaran indriyarthan vimudhatma. Indriyarthan, the sense objects, vimudaha is the fool, not ordinary fool, vishesha fool, very highest order fool. Vimudhatma mithyacharasya uchyate. He is giving one word here, pretender. You just pretend as though you have left everything, but in your mind you have everything. So that person is called this mithyachari and uchyate. So why it is very important, like to know the context of this pretender. What he wants to say is, if you do not follow karma yoga, you cannot be successful in jnana yoga. Because you will keep, if your mind is not pure, this jnana will not come to you. So you will get the wrong result and it will be bad consequence actually. If you are not prepared, if the child is not prepared for 4th standard, then if he directly jumps to 6th standard, he will not be able to cope. Like that, we will also become, and we will get the worse results because our mind is not mentally prepared, even if we went to jnana yoga. For example, you are going on this diet, okay, for 10 days. And you are going on this diet and you are controlling everything. 10 days you are controlling, but your mind is not prepared. What you are telling, this 10 days I am going to control myself. No sweets, nothing. I am not eating out. I am going to be very strict. But because your mind, you didn't have the proper goal in mind, 11th day onwards, you'll start binging. And you will put 10 more kilos after that because compensate everything and because your mind preparation was not there. If your mind preparation was there, then you know what is your goal. I want to be healthy. So I will not, as a lifestyle, I will not indulge in all these things. Then your success is much higher. Just like suppose there is a medicine given to you, that medicine you are taking for curing a disease, it gives 10 or 15 side effects, then what use is that medicine? Just like that, this jnana yoga will become useless if you have not performed the karma yoga properly. That is what Krishna wants to say, and you will just be a pretender. On the outward surface, people will think, oh my God, such a renounced person, everything. But inside, nothing will be there. Your own development. People are talking great things about you, doesn't matter. You should be internally pure. Pretending to control everything is not the right approach. Really, you must control with your mind. Yastvindriyani manasa नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम् असक्तस्त विशिष्यते. So yah, one who, to, but indriyani manasa. Indriyani is the senses, manasa, by the mind, niyamya, regulates it, arabhate, begins. O Arjuna, what he wants to say is one who is controlling the senses by the mind, or it can also be said as one who is controlling the senses along with the mind, also controlling the mind also. You can include that also, whichever way you want to take it. Karmendriyai karma yogam. So karmendriyai is the active sense organs. Karma yogam is this karma yoga. Asaktaha, without attachment. Saha, he. Vishishyate means he is far better. So what he is trying to say is one who is outwardly leaving everything, physically leaving, but in the mind, if he is active, thinking about those things, he is called Nityachari. What Krishna wants to say is how you should live is control the sense organs with the mind also being controlled, perform karma yoga without attachment. That is the only message here. So that is all we have seen in chapter 2. Just elaboration here. Shamaha and Damaha we told in Jnana Yoga, right? But in Karma Yoga also you need it because it has to start with Shamaha and Damaha. Shamaha, Damaha, then this Vivekam, Vairagyam, Mumukshutvam, all this, and also the Samatva. And Samaha, Damaha has to continue in Jnana Yoga also. Say this general translation. On the other hand, if a person tries to control the active senses by the mind and begins Karma Yoga without attachment, he is far superior.